Alright, how is everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Tesla stock. Now today, it's basically, I don't want to say it crashed, but it's down over 5%. At one point, it was under $600 a share. It literally hit 500s. It was in the 500s for maybe like, I would say a minute or so. But that's crazy that it's down this much today. And I'm going to be talking about, is it now a buy? Like, should you guys be looking to purchase Tesla stock, especially since it's crashed quite a bit? I know a lot of people have been waiting to get into Tesla because it's just been way too crazy. I feel like now you can actually start to even value Tesla stock. And I'm going to be talking about the valuations in this video as well, which is, I think, very important in my opinion, or in the way I invest. So yeah, right before we jump into it, make sure you guys sign up for Webull if you haven't already. Now I'm going to have a link down in the description. All you guys have to do is deposit $100 at least, and you'll get 2 free stocks. Now if you guys haven't done this already, definitely make sure to do so. It's literally free money, and maybe use it to buy Tesla stock. So yep, I'll have that down below. Now Webull has this. I like using Webull just because they have the market cap updating. Like if you go on Robinhood, it still shows a 600 billion market cap, which is very wrong. And I think even Yahoo Finance has a pretty good way of also looking at the market cap if you guys want to do that as well. 582. So yeah, they're pretty much similar with Yahoo Finance. Now, right now it's at a 582 billion market cap, right? Tesla stock used to be at, like even in 900s, very low 900s at one point of time. And that would have brought it close to like a trillion. Like it was at 800 billion, I think, at one point, almost $900 billion market cap at one point, which is nuts. But here today, even at the $500 range, it's very intriguing for me personally. Now, let's just dive straight into the numbers, right? If you guys go to the 4 PE ratios, it's at 161, which is not too shabby. I mean, it's a lot. Like, that's really expensive, but you got to take into account that Tesla will always trade at a premium, and it does have a 52% expected growth to that 4P, and then 30% on afterwards. That's the average analysts have them doing in terms of sales. Now, let's look at the actual like valuations. Right now, we can kind of, when we look at Tesla stock right now, if you guys, first and foremost, if you guys haven't don't have Tesla stock at all, or haven't never purchased any, or have such a small amount that you're looking to purchase more, this might be very intriguing for you to like build a small position or just buy a few shares at least. But for me personally, I just have way too much Tesla stock because of my portfolio just going up, right? I'm probably up like 800% on Tesla stock, even with this crash. So I have like Tesla stock is a pretty decent chunk of my portfolio. So I might be looking to buy, but let's just take a look at what we have here. So we can kind of value Tesla stock with kind of like where it's going to be overvalued for sure for potentially decades down the road. I never see Tesla stock to be trading at like a 30, 20p like these value stocks. It's just not going to happen. I just don't see that ever happening. If that was the case, Tesla would be at like $100 right now, right? It's just never going to happen. So we can kind of compare it. I like to compare it to like an Amazon, right? Where Amazon always has traded at a premium, right? 74p, trailing P, had a 60, 120 is kind of out of the norm. So let's just take 60, 70. So Amazon has always traded at like a premium in terms of the 4Ps, right? It was like 60, 70p. Now, the price to earnings ratio for Tesla, I think, could definitely be a little more than that. I mean, think about it logically, right? Is Amazon going to be growing more than Tesla is? I mean, Amazon's definitely going to be growing a lot, but is it going to be growing more than Tesla? Probably not, right? Amazon might double their business in the next decade or so, but Tesla will probably likely double their business within the next few years, right? So Tesla is always going to be trading in a more, I think even more of a premium than Amazon is. So it's safe to say even at a 70, maybe 80p ratio would be fair value for Tesla if we're taking that into account, right? So at 160, we're looking at the next year. So the 2021 numbers will bring them at like a 161 4p, which is expensive, right? But when I dug deeper, so I'm going to calculate their 4p in 2023, 2024. And the average, I mean, analysts do all the work for us. The average for 2022 is a 5.5. So I'm going to copy that. And that 5.52 is for 2022. So if we take their current market cap, which is on Webull, they're already at 6. Well, it's actually kind of bouncing back, but let's say 586, right? So if we take 526, which is the market cap, so I'm gonna have this right here, 552, and then let's just take their market cap on Webull, 586. We have a next year's 4P, or in 2022 4P of, oh my god, why did it not copy paste? Let's just say 586 divided by that. We can have a 4P of 106 in the year 2022, and that's already not bad, right? So the consensus here, I'm gonna go a little more further out. I'm gonna go 2 to 3 years down the road. Obviously, dude, I've been seeing a lot of I think Q1 is going to be surprisingly very well for Tesla. I've been like driving in the roads and done a few like hour-long drives to go to places in California, and dude, there's a lot of cars, Tesla cars, and a lot of them are brand new license plates. Like a lot of them are brand new Model Ys mostly, and some Model 3s as well. And I've been seeing a lot more than usual. I think Q1 is going to be really good for Tesla. I mean, usually Q1 is usually the weakest quarter for any car company, or even almost any company in general, right? Not many people are buying stuff in January, February, March, but I think Q1 could potentially be better than Q4 that we had last year. Pretty likely, right? And yeah, just take that into account as well. I think they could potentially beat those numbers. Now let's take the 2020. Okay, we're gonna go now. Let's take the 2023 P ratio. Let's say, I mean the EPS. So if we go here, right? We took the 5.52. I think they could even get the 7 EPS. Let's say in 2023. Let's say if the trend continues, it's probably conservative. This is probably a conservative number, but if they can do 7 in EPS, I'm hoping I'm doing this math right, is bringing it to a 83 4P in 2023. And we already discussed that is fair value, I think, especially since like an Amazon is trading at 60, 70, even 70 at a time where the markets are kind of down, right? The markets aren't doing the best right now. That is still pretty decent. So if you have I think the consensus is if you have a 2-year outlook on Tesla, you have a very good chance of making money, and it being like, if you're trying to buy the stock and sell it in 6 months, being like, okay, for sure it's gonna be higher in 6 months. I mean, it could trade flat for a year. Like Tesla stock could be at 600, 500 for the next 2 years. Like I wouldn't be that crazy. Kind of unlikely, right? But that's possible. But if you have anywhere between a 2 to 3 year outlook, at least at minimum, I think this could be a very interesting deal. Obviously, you have Kathy Wood put out insane projections for Tesla, which I think are kind of nuts. But if that happens, then it's kind of crazy. And obviously, that if you look at Kathy Wood's projections, those are 5 years down the line, 4 years down the line. So with this type of stocks, anything can happen in the short term. But I think long term, Tesla's going to do crazy. And if it goes down to low 500s, for me personally, I might buy. If I didn't have Tesla stock, I would probably buy even a few shares now and start like buying a bit right now. But one more thing to look at is you can't just calculate this with the 4Ps, right? If we take the cash on hand, obviously Tesla has Bitcoin, right? They bought like 1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and then it doubled. So they basically have almost 3 billion in Bitcoin right now, if not 2.5, 3 billion. So this cash on hand right here isn't exactly calculating that Bitcoin they bought. So even let's say they're at a 25 billion in cash. Look at this. They went from 6 billion to 20 billion in cash. That's pretty nuts in 1 year. So let's say they're at like 25 billion right now. We can actually discount this, right? Even market cap was falling, but even at $600 flat, you have a 580 billion market cap. And then if you subtract, let's just say they have 30 billion in cash, 550, and then we take the EPS 3 years from now, you're looking at under 80, 70 something P in the year 2023. So if you have a 2-year outlook on Tesla, dude, this is a 2023 technically it's 3 years, right? 2021, 2, 3. So if you have 2 to 3 year outlook, it's looking pretty promising if Tesla just meets what analysts think. If they blow it out of the water, I mean, analysts have it all over the place, right? You look at, they have anywhere from, some people say Tesla is gonna go to $30. See, look at this, analyst price target, $67 to 1,200. It's all over the place. But even the average, if you take the average, which I think there's a lot of people thinking it's going to go down than up. I think up is a lot more likely with Tesla. But even the bear case, conservative, like I'm doing very conservative numbers, it's still a deal 2 years, 3 years from now. Now, is there better stocks out there in the stock market? I think so. That will bring more reward compared to the risk. But if you're really in love with Tesla and you really want to buy the stock and you want to get into it, like I am, for example, definitely look into this yourself. And I think it's potentially a buy right now. I think it is a buy anywhere near high 500s, even at a $600 mark. I think it's a pretty good buy. If you have a few-year outlook, it's a buy. I mean, it's gonna be, you're probably gonna be profitable if you have a long-term outlook with Tesla, unless something tragic happens, like Elon Musk dies or something terrible happens. I think it's gonna be looking pretty well for Tesla. Now, could it fall to 400, dude? It very well can. I mean, look at this. If QQQ, the Nasdaq, which is you can just check by doing QQQ. If Nasdaq falls 10%, which means it goes to 270, which is pretty likely. I mean it's not likely, but that's not too crazy, right? Nasdaq is up 60% of this year. If it goes down 10%, Tesla's falling 20%. That's just how the stock market works, right? The Nasdaq is up, or the Nasdaq was down like 1% today, and Tesla fell 4%. I mean, now it's up, but I guess that's why Tesla's been going up a little bit. But if it falls 10%, don't be shocked if Tesla goes down to high 400s, low 500s. That could happen as well. So that's what I'm saying. Short term, Tesla stock could definitely be a volatile stock, which has always been, but there's definitely can be downside in the short term as well for Tesla stock. So if you're looking to trade it, I would just stay away from the stock if you're looking to turn the stock around in 6 months, a year, stuff like that. Now, one thing is interesting. NIO stock today, down 10%. Let's update this. It's down like 9. It was down 10% today, right? Now it's up down like 9%. The reason that is because they just stopped producing vehicles because of the chip shortage they had, and that's kind of nuts. And I believe Ford as well. I saw an article that Ford as well stopped producing some of their cars because of this. And I could be wrong. I haven't done a whole lot of research, but I believe Tesla does make their own chips. This is from an article of last year. And I believe Samsung makes their other chips. So Tesla could be in a pretty good position where they're not going to be dealing with the chip shortage as much as these other manufacturers. That could be another thing that boosts them in the short term as well. Like I said, I think the Q1 numbers are going to be insane for Tesla. So that could potentially bring up this price quite a bit when they do release. I mean, Q1 ends in just a few days now, in a week now, right? So just a matter of time when they release this. One final thing is that obviously, if a scenario happens, I give this a 10% chance, but if this happens where the government all of a sudden lets Tesla have another rebate, like a tax rebate of $7,000, which I did some research on this, and it says it's about 15% chance of happening, where they reintroduced the Green Act, and it's so far they haven't voted on it yet. But if they do, if this passes, this website has 15% chance of this happening. But I'd probably give it like a 10% chance, because I don't quite see this happening. But if it doesn't happen now, it's probably gonna happen in the future. But right now, if that does happen, where Tesla can sell like 500K more cars with a tax rebate, dude, those cars are flying out the shelves, man. I think it's going to be really crazy. I think they're going to, the numbers they're going to do this year they're going to blow it out of the water. They're going to be selling cars. It's going to be flying out. I think they might sell 500K cars in a few months if that passes. So that's a very slight chance of that happening. But that's another thing that if it does happen, it could boost the price of the stock quite a bit. Another thing I noticed is that what they usually do is they try to sell a lot of cars right before the deadline of the quarter. And looking at it, they actually lowered the price of their cars by 500. And then I think what happened was I noticed once they lowered the prices, they raised them a week or two later. I feel like what happened there was so many people started buying these cars when they lowered the price that they had to raise them to be able to build it as fast, right? Because if you have so many people buying your stuff, you're like, okay, let's raise the price a little bit. Let's let demand kind of slow down a little bit so we can build more cars, because they have 10 weeks delivery. That's a lot, right? It usually hasn't been 10 weeks from my understanding, at least. So Yep, that is that. So yeah, that has been it for this video. I mean, Tesla stock right now, I think it's a buy if you don't really have Tesla stock. If you have a long-term outlook, I think it's a buy right now for sure. Especially, I mean, what we talked about in terms of the Ford PE is only what they're gonna do in the next few years. I see Tesla stock doing crazy numbers. In 10 years from now, they're still gonna be doing crazy numbers. I mean, the real growth hasn't even started, right? I mean, it's gonna be 10 years from now. Tesla's gonna be probably in their prime, right? Not right now, in terms of everyone switching to electric vehicles, because it's gonna be a slow process. Not everyone's gonna start buying electric cars, but it does look like it, especially 5 to 10 years. 10 years from now, I think everyone, in like probably 80% of people, are gonna be looking to buy a brand new electric car instead of a gas powered car in that year when the time comes, right? So, I mean, especially when that happens, the growth is all up from there, in my opinion. So that is just that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on my next video. Make sure to subscribe.